Welcome back to another Techstination interview. I'm Fred Fishkin, and joining us from Oslo, Norway, are Erling Solheim and Christopher Hagen, co-founders of a company called PlayPulse. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah, happy to be here.
I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but tell us about this company that you have and a little about what you're doing.
So this company is based on an idea and a project I started a few years ago at the end of my master's thesis in computer science, where I was lacking motivation to exercise, and I was finding a lot of motivation to play games. And I was seeing some sort of synergy between these two themes. I wanted to create some exercise that used the fun I found in games to make me want to exercise. So me and now colleague started an early prototype of what we're now selling and basing our company on, which is playing video games on a bike, and not the bad video games that existed on a bike, but the games that we wanted to play, the games that motivated us. So we created a prototype of this, and it was a lot of fun. It was sometimes hard to build a prototype because we were just using it. And we got some friends in to play it and had some really good reception, both in terms of they enjoyed the game, but they also got really tired, and it was proper exercise. And to make a very long and kind of fun story short, we kept iterating on the prototype. I started a PhD to look more into the science behind it. What made this work? How did the games have to be in order to keep this keep the exercise relevant and not make it a gimmick, and keep creating great games and also good exercise? And eventually I met when I met the real world with this, bringing out of the university and into gyms and schools, I had a lot of parents and a lot of youth coming over to me and asking, like, where can we get this? How can we buy this? This is something, I've never seen my children exercise like this. They just want to sit home and play games. This is amazing. Where do we get it? And when I told them you can't get this. This is just a research project. They became a little bit disappointed, and eventually I realized I need to get this out. So I started a company, needed some expertise, and this is where I met Erling, who had some run-in with the startup world and had some experience that I wanted in my company as well.
Well, tell me, maybe Erling, you want to pick up here. Tell me about the games here and how it is that you're able to motivate people to really exercise while they're playing.
Exactly. I can bring my perspective and hand it over to Chris again to go deeper on that topic. Just to kind of pick up the thread where Chris left off, we started a company 4 years ago to take it into the real world. And I think one of the key drivers for my own personal sake to want to kind of join in here, coming from a consumer goods startup earlier that's been doing well, but just seeing how the kind of interaction between the users and the product has this incredibly positive response and results. Seeing that with, for instance, this kid that we're featuring in a newspaper in Norway, where he was just so incredibly excited to come back every time, and he had never enjoyed physical activity before, but now he was just super enthusiastic. His mom was again telling us to do this, and I think that is the driver here. Just seeing that kind of that purpose and seeing that difference the product can make is what really got me hooked in, and as we kind of took it into the real world. But as for the game specifically, as you asked about, maybe Chris, you want to speak a little bit to the magic here?
Yeah, I can do that. And some of the reason why you mentioned that this case we had where we had a young boy in to play, and his mother was frustrated because he didn't enjoy any traditional physical activities.
That's a problem a lot of parents face today.
I have the
kids.
impression. I don't
Yeah.
have that. I don't have that problem myself yet, but this is a trend. And what he liked in when he tried our product in early games is this was what he enjoyed doing at home in his room. It was playing games with friends. It was the same kind of games, and he was really good at them. He was at like playing on our bikes. He was a lot better than the fit kids because he was good at games. So he found like a very good sense of mastery in this physical activity. And you know, the fit kids asked him like, how could they get better? If he could teach them how to play this. And he was telling like, you have to. They were playing. They were using the bike. So short. I have to briefly explain that. You're sitting on the bike and you're pedaling, and the faster you pedal, the faster you move within the game. So this specific game, they were driving a tank, and if you pedal slowly, the tank moves slowly, and if you pedal fast, it moves faster. And then on the handlebar of the bike, there are buttons for turning and shooting and using various abilities on the tanks. So even though he was less fit, he knew how to, like, he was better at aiming. He had a better hand-eye coordination. So say they were coming over to him and like asking if he could teach them how to become as good as him in this game. So we really we're making the games to build on the experience people have playing video games, but we're changing the setting. And we're trying to get them to exercise for free in a way. We're not, in some ways, we're trying to hide the exercise. None of our games will tell you to exercise. We're not telling people to pedal or do an interval or, you know, go as fast as you can. We're building this into the game. So in this tank game, for example, there's a capture the flag element. And when you pick up the flag in the game and you have, you know, two people chasing you, no one's going to have to tell you to go fast. You're going to understand that, you know, we're just building on that intuition and the immersion of the game to create these exercise elements and just build them into the mechanics of the games.
I just want to add on that a little bit, just to make it even more generic. There's of course some of the stuff, kind of the knowledge here that is somewhat proprietary and kind of the secret sauce into what we're doing. But I think it's important to kind of underline that it is a combination of the scientific research underneath, and then combining it with the creativity in video games. And you really need to merge those in the right way to create this experience where, as Chris said, you just get drawn into the game and the benefits are just happening implicitly. And that is something we're now trying to do and are doing with more games and building out a library of different games that creates different kind of workouts, but all happening without even thinking about it because you're just jumping into the game.
And there's an entertainment function to these screens that you have as well on the bikes. Tell me about that.
Sure. Yeah, I can to speak a little bit to that. I mean, so we're pre-selling the bikes, shipping by end of year, and just to have that mentioned, it's a fully integrated bike with, as Chris said, the sensor for the pedals, the controllers, and a 24-inch touchscreen PC with a dedicated graphics card. So this is what was done, and we designed it in this way to enable these kind of online 3D multiplayer games. But I mean, as soon as you have this device in your living room, we kind of see it as almost a no-brainer to have or to offer different entertainment options. As this will typically be kind of a family purchase for some. Maybe not the whole family are super enthusiastic about video games. So we made it possible to access streaming services via a browser on the touchscreen, and also building out a kind of a gamified fitness application. So we're still having these kind of gamified elements, and also with the streaming service, there is an optional feature where you say that, okay, I want to keep this pace, I want to do this sort of exercise, or the screen will go black. So kind of just pushing you while you're watching your favorite show. If you're not really keeping your pace up, it will stop playing and tell it to keep moving.
Wow. So you've got to keep moving to keep watching.
Yeah.
Maybe you pedal faster to skip commercials or
That is a great idea. That is actually a great idea.
So in terms of the motivation, how is this different, the way you've conceived of it, from, say, the Peloton experience?
Now, I mean, I can speak a little bit.
Are you going after a
Chris
different type of audience, consumer?
Yeah, I think like the broadest way to speak about it is that just, I mean, with some statistics, it's clear that I think in the US, 75% of Americans say they want to be more physically active, but lacking motivation. So motivation being kind of the key factor. And then we see that even 75% of Americans have a gamer in their household. So gaming is a key driver for motivation, and people love it. Most of the kind of the fitness experiences out there are great for a lot of people, and myself included. I love going to the gym. But for the majority, these kind of hardcore workouts where you're being told or even screamed at to keep pushing and doing those kind of hardcore workouts is not very appealing. It does not necessarily give you a sense of mastery, and it might just be too intimidating for some to go to the gym. And that is kind of what we see here is that, I mean, even though the Playballs experience appeals to me as well, yeah, kind of a gym fanatic, it's kind of the purpose here is to broaden the horizon and really make this experience something that is appealing to more people that want to be active and make that possible.
Just a little bit from my side, because I'm less fond of the gym. And what I started out, I wanted to in some ways take discipline out of the equation. A lot of the reason why people get to the gym is they know it's good. They're not necessarily looking forward to it, but they know it's good. You know, at the end of it, it feels good. I think we're trying to aim at the people who are looking for other ways of motivating themselves to start exercising. You know, maybe it's just fun. Maybe it's not. It's a high quality workout, but maybe it's not as intensive as you know, a trainer yelling at you to go faster. But if you can get to it 3, 4, 5 times a week, even if it's just 45 minutes, that's, you know, long term, that's better as long as you can keep on going.
Yeah, like we like to say that the best workout is the one you look forward to and actually do.
Yeah, exactly. So just wanting to do it, and we're creating games where we want people to stop playing because they're tired, not because they're bored. So focus very much on the fun of the experience and the joy of playing games.
Are you planning multiplayer games as well, so people can play against each other?
Very much so.
Yeah, that was actually just what I'm gonna make a point out of is that I mean, research shows clearly that social workouts are very effective for many people. That might mean going to the gym with a friend, or it might be going for a run with a friend, or playing some team sports. I mean, it's very clear that multiplayer gaming has a massive appeal. And this is what we see. I mean, we made some single player games and always single player modes in the different games. But that crucial experience where you get this, like you have this immersive gaming experience with your friends online, and you're getting a workout. So you're working out with your friends by having fun, and also just then adding kind of that level of kind of peer pressure. Like you have to be here. Like, Chris, we're gonna play tonight. We're gonna crush it. So you have to be there, and that is also a key driving factor to just keep people coming back.
So tell me about the challenges of building a bike that can withstand the rigors of a gamer seriously trying to compete here.
That's a very good point. And to be clear, I mean, we're a startup based in Norway. We're working with a partner in Taiwan that has decades of experience with building exercise machines and stationary bikes. So we're not reinventing the wheel, so to speak, when it comes to the bike. We're basing it on a well-tested and well-proven model that is robust. But we've been redesigning the aesthetics of the bike extensively, which we think is important to make it appealing and has to kind of differentiate it from the kind of standard bikes out there. And yeah, Chris, you want to?
Yeah, we've also had several and lots of iterations on how to create, like where to put the buttons on the handlebar. This didn't exist when we started out researching this and doing this, but we wanted to be as comfortable as possible to use. I mean, it's not going to be exactly like sitting in the coach with a controller in your hands, but we want to mimic that experience, except you're sitting on the bike. So we've tried different ways of like buttons, joysticks, placing, like where can you put the buttons. So that's definitely part of the journey we've been on, creating this interface that didn't exist before we started out, and now I think we just recently submitted our final answer to the factory, and quite happy with it. It feels, when you sit down on the bike and you put your hands on the handlebar, your fingers just finds the buttons. Finally, it took a bit of time to get there, but now it feels good. Now it feels like a controller. It feels like, how we want it to feel.
Well, you've had some challenges here. Obviously, like the whole world, you've had to do this in the midst of a pandemic and a chip shortage going on now. So tell us how all of this has impacted your ability to get this into the hands of consumers to really start selling them.
I mean, I can most likely ask to start kind of bridge the gap from where Chris left off. I mean, as we took this into the real world in 2017, we started to testing with different configurations of the hardware. So just to have that clear, I mean, we have been testing now for several years in many different settings. So from the gym to schools, hospitals, youth clubs, co-working spaces, and in homes. I've been testing many different hardware setups to make this happen. As we embarked on kind of the say like the consumer version of the whole in-home version of the product about a year and a half ago, basically around when COVID really hit us here in Europe as well, and in the States. We firstly kind of focused on the making sure that the product is as good as it can possibly be, the user experience, to make that as good as it can possibly be. And now, the past, say, 6 months, this year, 2021, as we're preparing and kind of ramping up towards manufacturing, we do face the same issues for sure. I think, I mean, we've been kind of consciously designing the product. I mean, without going into technical detail, we're not using the newest hardware, for instance, like so graphics card and some computer components that are like state-of-the-art graphics card that are used for instance for Bitcoin mining, that has been a shortage for a long while. Out of just cost consideration, we don't want to use the newest equipment. It must kind of make sense. So to make it affordable, we've kind of traced it back a few years, going to have something that is sufficiently strong and then more readily available from kind of a supply chain point of view as well. So that at least is one component, making it somewhat simpler.
Tell us how pricing will work, and there's also a subscription model. Yeah,
so we're pricing the full bike at $19.99 US dollars, so $2,000. But now in the pre-order period, we're selling at a 40% discount on our own website, which will then ship by end of year. So it will be in consumer hands by December. The subscription, which we dubbed PlayPulse Live, for all live content, meaning all the online available content, is $20 a month. This is included for 6 months when you pre-order the bike. And this gives full access to like all the games, all the different features within the fitness application, and like the full service. But then we want to underline that if you don't want to subscribe, the bike will still work. You will have access to the streaming services via the browser. You will have a simpler version of the fitness application, and then varying access to different trial versions of the games. And I mean, to be clear here, we're starting out with a whole new gaming library for a whole new use case. So we're very focused on making great games that are really fun, engaging, and from different audiences. But this library will be expanded. So we already have a number of titles in the works to expand the number of titles, and also just to expand the content within each game. So new seasons and so forth. Maybe you want to speak to that a little bit, Chris.
You must be working with some game developers, right?
Yeah. We have. Just want to mention briefly the reason why we went for a subscription plan instead of, it's like a lot of online games these days are working on microtransactions or a buy to play, and we really want to focus on creating good games and good experiences, and less on how to like trick people into paying us, a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there. I'd rather make games that I enjoy playing, and I think other people will enjoy playing, and focus on making workout fun instead of trying to squeeze money out of people.
Yeah, and just want to add in on the pricing there. I mean, us is more subscription is clearly a concern, and we were hesitant about this. So it's good that you underline those points, Chris. But we will say that, I mean, in the fitness space, $20 per month is still fairly reasonable compared to other services. And especially, we believe, when you have this variety of experiences and updates that will come.
And that's one subscription that would cover a household, or so you can have a bunch of people using it, playing different games.
Exactly. So you can have several users on the same account within the household. I think our current limit is 5, and we'll see if that is to be adjusted. But that should cover most households. Should be fine with that. I assume people will be sharing users just to share progress across family members and so on as well.
Where is it that people can go for more info on this, and maybe to order? Yeah.
So, I mean, please check out the website. It's playpulse.com. You will able to find all the information there, and let's say subscribe to the social media channels. So it's at PlayPulse on both Facebook and Instagram.
Again, it's playpulse.com. Yeah. Erling Solheim and Christopher Hagen, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you so much, Fred. This is fun.